This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I am here with Doug Herring, an independent agent from the Summit Financial Group. Since 2013, he has been helping individuals, business owners with risk management and the solutions for better peace of mind. Doug, let's begin a little bit about yourself. I mean, last year you began professionally going out helping folks with risk management, but it's really more than 3 decades you've got now as someone who knows and understands business, not only from the financial numbers standpoint, but people in general. Share with me how you got involved in this industry.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. As you said, I've been in the financial world for about 30 years in accounting and financial planning. And a few years back, a friend of mine got involved in insurance, and I always thought, boy, this sounds like a great way to help people. Manage risk. I found a lot of people that I dealt with, even in my own companies, didn't really understand their policies, didn't understand what they were covered for. So just really a great way to help businesses and individuals understand their overall financial picture better and the risks that they're taking on in doing business or just living life.
Speaking of risks, living life as business owners, when we get involved in business, we understand it's going to be risky, be it starting from scratch or possibly growing an existing business. But yet, do you find that many of them are not educated as to the risks involved of protecting themselves after they're in business? Is that what you come across sometimes?
Yeah, especially, Gary, especially small business owners. A lot of times they don't really know what they need to be covered for, or sometimes they won't even get policies to begin with to cover themselves, and so they don't think about the fact that they might be sued, or if they own a business where they have customers coming in, that simple things on their property need to be covered.
Do you find it that many business owners tend to think a little bit differently? And is this something that is great for you because you can relate with them, because you understand how they can get tunnel vision and be very focused on what they do?
That's right. Well, I spent a lot of years as a CFO, for example, and so I was on the buying end of the insurance, making sure that we were protected in the businesses that I was responsible for. And so going out to businesses now and being able to tell them, hey, these are some things I've seen, not just stories from the newspaper, but also, these are things that I've witnessed. These are things I've been a part of. These are problems I've had to resolve personally, and letting people know there are options out there.
Excellent. I mean, I would hope that business owners or even individuals have some type of insurance in place, but do you find that many of them are not adequately insured? And is that basically an area that you can help with them? And why did it become that way in the first place?
Sure. I think, in terms of businesses, a lot of times they just don't know specific risks. A lot of them have general liability policies, but sometimes depending on the type of business, say, accounting is a great example. So there's specific policies for accountants out there. And so a lot of people don't know that. In terms of individuals, a lot of folks are underinsured. The other thing that happens in terms of just not having disability insurance, for example, for somebody that might be a sole breadwinner as an entrepreneur, or life insurance, having small kids. The statistics are that about 40% of the people don't have any kind of life insurance at all, and people that have a life insurance policy through their company often think that's enough, and it's not.
So basically, just to say I have insurance really kind of is a vague term. Do you find out that many of these folks don't even understand how their policy works? And is that where you really come into play?
Well, that's absolutely true, because one of the things, I've also spent about 20 years in education at various night classes, universities here in Colorado Springs and Denver. And so education is part of what I do. It's part of what I believe in. And one of the things I find quite often, in fact, is that even a basic life insurance policy, that people just really don't understand what's covered, what might be excluded, and just how the policy works.
So basically you're saying choosing insurance is not a one-size-fits-all. This is something you really have to take a customized approach with each individual. Is this something that you actually enjoy, that part of the challenge?
Sure. Even something like a basic term life insurance policy is fun to educate people on and help them out to figure out how much they need, some of it on their risk. And then, whole life insurance has got a bad rap in a lot of circles these days. And there are ways that I can show people, especially people that are, say, in a high income bracket and paying a lot of taxes, there are a lot of ways they can actually specially structure that whole life insurance policy to meet their needs specifically. I have a friend who is a doctor who recently has purchased policies on 3 different members of his family and is using those in a system that often is called Be Your Own Banker or Infinite Banking. I like to call it developing your own personal line of credit.
Interesting. I mean, let's speak about that a little specifically. So we're talking about whole life insurance, term life insurance. I mean, I've read so many things that are different on that out there, but are you basically saying that each one serves its own purpose and both can be used in a great portfolio?
Sure, I think that's absolutely true. In fact, a lot of times with individuals, I'll recommend some of each. So it just depends on the situation. So that's where I said the education really comes in. I like to sit with an individual or a family or a couple and really talk to them about what are your needs, what are your goals, and how do you need to be insured, and what's the best way to do that in terms of life insurance and disability insurance as well for some people is appropriate.
Is basically a proper insurance setup really part of a bigger picture, an overall financial plan that will help folks?
That's right, yeah. I think in terms of looking at a person's financial plan, I recently did a small business owner and his spouse who happens to work for the business as well. And so we had to, look at some specific needs they had in terms of how those life insurance policies fit into their family life, as well as, what we might be able to do in terms of some key person insurance for the business as well. So, developing that, customizing it for the people's needs.
You had touched on earlier about being your own banker. I know for myself, I recently last month financed part of a Disney trip for my family through whole life insurance. Is that a benefit that many people don't know about, and is that something that is recommended?
Yeah, I don't think that people understand whole life insurance at all, really. Most people that I know, they either what the information they have is either incomplete or incorrect, or they have no information at all. And so just, your example of how you used your whole life insurance policy, loaning yourself money, making a plan to pay it back, reloaning yourself money, earning interest on the whole life policy while you're actually using the money and putting it back in at a very low interest rate and in a way that's tax advantaged. Many people don't know that a very good, well-structured whole life insurance policy over time can be, after taxes, be roughly about 4%, 4% return, which for a pretty safe investment or savings, we're not supposed to call it investments actually, but for a savings plan actually works pretty well and is comparable to a 5 or 6% taxable rate, which try to find that in an almost guaranteed investment right now, and you're not going to find it. So.
Absolutely. One of the things, obviously, to find an agent out there important is trust. Obviously, an agent needs to be more than just an informational website that people can click to. Is that what you strive for?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, one of the reasons that people say in polls that they don't buy life insurance is they don't trust an agent, but they don't know enough to go to the web to just get a quote. And so one of the things that I want to do is, in a very low-pressure environment, again, educate folks, discuss with folks what their needs are, and then we can, if it's appropriate to sell them a policy or a specific kind of policy, then let's do that, and let's make sure they're protected.
Like any important purchase out there, be it a home or a fine diamond, insurance is the same way. It becomes an educational process. Do you enjoy as people learn more and more about their policies, and are they sometimes taken back by what they find?
Yeah, I think, again, just a recent conversation I had with a very young couple with a very small child, and they were buying actually, not a big policy. And to be frank, I didn't make a lot of money off it. But sitting with them at their kitchen table, talking about what they could afford, what they did need in their situation, and being able to make sure they were protected was well worth it. And, hopefully being able to do that for the rest of their lives.
Excellent. So be it an individual at a kitchen table or group policies, are group benefits something that you specialize in?
Yeah, group benefits are really important. It's important for businesses to understand what they're buying, why they're buying it. Maybe sometimes companies want to over buy insurance, and there are methods that I'm just now starting to pursue to make it even more affordable for businesses. So things that are, again, tax advantage for both the employee and the employer, and reduce the need for, say, what's now called a gold insurance plan, where employers could maybe even reduce their coverage but still benefit their employees. So that's really important. The other thing is to educate the employees at the business. So when we do a group policy, the other thing I like to do is do like a lunch and learn with the employees as to how those group benefits fit into their personal benefits they might have. Of course, some of that we have to do on an individual basis.
I imagine a lot of the individuals have many questions for you, and that's got to be an educational process. Obviously, risk management is important for individuals, but for businesses, there are many areas to be concerned with, not only for the life insurance, disability, even the commercial property, or not only that, but if something should happen to somebody while they're at the facility. Are these all the areas that you can help with?
That's right, and I can help with all of that. I think a lot of things that people don't realize, people don't think about is, again, you mentioned if a customer comes in and gets hurt on the property, pretty much you're responsible whether you did anything wrong or not. And so you really need coverage for that. You want to make sure you're adequately covered. The other way that we can help is, workers' compensation insurance, of course, is required. And going through safety programs, how do you make sure your workers don't get hurt in the first place? So that helps your workers. It also helps you reduce your insurance costs and manage your risk.
Excellent. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see, first of all, is his contact information. Contact information, give him a call or reach out via email. Basically request a quote or request to sit down at a place of your choosing. He can sit down, possibly look at a policy you have in place and to give you some recommendations. Or if you're somebody who's just starting out and looking for some coverage, obviously that's a great way as well. You can also see the website there for the Summit Financial Group, where you can see a lot of the services that he is able to offer you. And let me ask you, for nearly a quarter of a century, you've been out there dealing with companies, both large and small, not only buying insurance, but being on the other side as well. Like you said, you're a helper by nature. Is this kind of a natural fit for you, being an agent for folks?
Oh yeah, I love it. I really enjoy my clients. I enjoy getting to know them. I think that's one thing I really enjoy about being an insurance agent is I really get to know the people I'm working with, and I know their businesses. I know how I can help them best, and I really feel like when I complete a sale, when I complete an application, that I'm benefiting the customer. It's not just about me and making that next commission. It really is about helping people and making sure that they're taken care of.
Taken care of. That is Doug Herring, independent agent of the Summit Financial Group. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.